Welcome to Sharika Talks, Unraveling the Truth, a journalist's quest. Subscribe for the truth.
Chapter 55, The Price of the Destination. No. Alice, no. Sharika screamed aloud and nearly threw her laptop onto the floor. An entire year's worth of diary entries was gone, obliterated by the playful papercraft of a 7-year-old. Only the very last page of the journal had survived. She read those last two entries again and again, hoping she had misread the date, hoping there was more. Finally, she closed the laptop. Her mind was churning. The last 2 hours of reading had provided massive answers, but they had birthed terrifying new questions. She was finally starting to understand who Sachin was. Could this all be true? She wondered. The data about those ancient kingdoms, the biological engineering, the gods actually being mortal kings? The more she thought about it, the more the puzzle pieces locked together. Sachin's real goal, she realized, had always been the same: to build a utopia where everyone had a fighting chance. And anything that stood in the way of that, including religion, was something he was prepared to destroy. So the leaps in the financial audits of deep enterprises weren't because Sachin was stealing from the temples, Sharika told the empty room. It was the careful, systematic planning of a visionary. But she also noticed how ruthless he had become. He was a man for whom the ends absolutely justified the means. Though the diary abruptly ended in the last week of October 2025, Sharika could clearly piece together what happened next by adding these new revelations into her Project Umbra. He must have initially used the archaeological park in Delhi as a hideout and research center. From there, he would have studied the texts, decoded the language, and slowly pursued the hidden knowledge. Then he must have approached other temples, sometimes with permission, sometimes without, and accessed whatever secrets they held. At some point, he had moved his main base to the Science City project in the desert. Remembering the traps and locking mechanisms Marthanda Varma had built using Agastya's descriptions, she suddenly understood what must have happened in Varanasi. There would be underground chambers containing similar wealth like Vault B of the Padmanabhaswamy temple. There must have been traps similar to Nagapasha Bandhan there as well. He must have accidentally triggered one of the explosive traps. But then, how did he enter such a subterranean chamber there if something like that existed? She wondered. Then she remembered a key detail. When she tracked Sachin's location, she saw him for hours in the river. At that time, she thought he was on a boat or that it was a GPS error. But now she thought that might not be the case. There had to be an underwater tunnel leading to underground chambers beneath the temple there. Just like the ones under the Padmanabhaswamy temple, she suddenly realized. Sachin must have entered through one of those tunnels. Then something must have really gone wrong, and he used the other entrance, which triggered the explosive trap. But what secrets had he found there? What would have been in that bag he exchanged with that woman? Aiswarya. She found the name of that assistant of his from the descriptions. Another specific term she had read led to an even bigger revelation. Navapashanam. The Navapashanam idol deal in Lahore. Shoresh Kapoor, the infamous antique smuggler who got an early release from prison. The story she tried to make after it had led her nowhere at that time. Now she understood. Sachin wasn't the seller. Sharika finally realized the truth. He was the buyer. It was Sachin's influence that had secured Kapoor's early release. He must have used Rocky's men, who were already planning to cross the border to Pakistan to capture Dawood Iqbal. There he must have finished the deal, literally buying the idol for $1 billion. Navapashanam, the elixir of life. Did such a technology really exist? And if Sachin had truly discovered all this, did Sachin truly possess such a technology now? And if Sachin had found all this proof, why hadn't he shattered the world's religions by making it public, just as he had intended? She opened her laptop again and stared at the scan of the last surviving page, the last two entries he made right before going to Kailash, the entry he wrote just before handing the diary over to Alice. She read it slowly. 27 September 2026. Open quote. When I met Balbinder Singh at Gorakhpur railway station on my way to Rocky's home, he talked about the rescue op they are going to do. He said he was going to help the BBC film it live. You know, I'm not fond of the media, so I informed him that I'm not joining the fight. It's not just the media. I am truly tired of fighting. But I have decided to travel to Rocky's home with Balbinder Singh after their operation is finished. So a day of rest for me in Gorakhpur railway station, Deepa. Then I am on my way to meet Rocky first. Then from there to my final destination, the place where it all started, Kailash. Before that, I am going to persuade Rocky to open up to the world. I am sure this time I will be able to do it. Even last time during your issues, I almost succeeded. This time, I'm sure Rocky will step into the light. Close quote. 28 September 2026, open quote. Deepa, I talked to Rocky. I explained about that organization I talked about earlier. After he finally understood about the root cause of most wars and conflicts currently happening in the world, he is now understanding the true meaning of his findings during his days in the Pakistani army. I partly shared my findings with him. He has decided to present himself to the world after the necessary precautions are taken. I haven't shared where I'm going exactly, but I told him that once I return, I may have answers to some questions he has. Close quote. 29 September 2026. Open quote. Deepa, you know Alice, right? Adam's daughter. After I spoke with Rocky, I was playing with her. She has these two new pet sugar gliders. But I made a mistake. I showed her how to make a paper aeroplane using a page from this diary that had already torn loose. I showed her the various aerodynamic designs in the back of the book. That was a mistake. Now she is crying without stopping. She is completely determined that she needs this diary. She wants this diary you gave me, Deepa. I almost feel like crying. You know how much I love you and how much I cherish this diary you gifted me. But when I think more about it, I feel like this needs closure too. You know that there is always a nagging sensation in the back of my mind, even while I am preparing for the ascent. It's like the old saying, if you want to achieve something impossible, you have to sacrifice the thing you love the most. I am on a pilgrimage to Mount Kailash to find the impossible. I have prepared for it physically, intellectually, and mentally. I think I have to prepare emotionally as well. I know without leaving you behind, I can't do that. But you also know that I can never ever leave you. I can't destroy this diary you gave me, and I can't throw it away. But I feel like this little girl's adamancy will help me leave you with her. This diary will be the price I pay myself for the goal. It all started with you, Deepa, and my whole life was for you. And it will end for you. If this little girl has become an omen for it, I will take it. I want to reach the summit as a true man, carrying nothing but my resolve. Deepa, I love you. Always. Close quote. Sharika, read it one more time. The raw emotion leaking through his pragmatic words hit her hard. She could picture him clearly, staring at his precious diary with tearful eyes before parting ways. She glanced at her watch. 5:30 a.m. Sheila Bhatia could arrive at any minute. Sharika went to the bathroom, freshened up, came back and chewed a caffeine tablet. Sleep could wait, but she needed to focus. She grabbed Sachin's diary. First, she was going to walk out and search Alice's room to see if any of those paper airplanes had somehow survived the years. Second, she had a crazy, world-breaking story to share with Sheila ma'am. And third, she looked at her reflection in the mirror. Long hair, pimpleless face, 2 years gap. Sachin would never recognize her. Moreover, he didn't even clearly remember what happened in that train. He definitely wouldn't know her, she told herself. Then she made a decision. She was going to try and join Deep Enterprises. She was going to find every truth about Sachin from the inside. She knew how bold a move that would be, but she also knew that would be the best way to uncover Sachin's secrets. She took a deep breath, determination glinting in her eyes, and walked out of the room. End of chapter 55.
Thank you for watching. Unraveling the Truth, A Journalist's Quest. Subscribe to stay updated on Sharika's journey. Stay tuned for the next part.